Russian generals are idiots. The authorities are a bunch of old hedonists. And the cannon fodder is running out fast. Strelkov-Girkin told the truth about the situation among the occupiers. Putin is panicking. Fuel is running out. Gas stations have started diluting gasoline. Trump is flip-flopping again. What will happen to the tomahawks? Lukashenko has presented Belarusians with an economic miracle. Cowsheds will save the country from collapse. Clumsy Russian air defense shot down its own fighter jet in Crimea. And the bunker villain tried to kill an opposition figure in Europe again. Hello everyone, my name is Fedor Shirenko, and now we're going to discuss all the most important and high-profile topics. What people are talking about around the world, in Ukraine, and of course beyond the boundaries of civilization. Everything that's trending. Let's get started. Crimea is on fire. Thick smoke has covered the peninsula. The EU has introduced new sanction packages against the occupiers. Drones struck several substations, as well as an oil depot in Gvardeyskoye near Sevastopol. In Donetsk, according to local sources, an ammunition depot was blown up. In addition, residents of Sochi, Adler and Vladimir heard explosions and air defense activity. Russian generals are idiots, and the authorities are a bunch of old hedonists. The occupiers are rapidly running out of cannon fodder. The terrorist Strelkov-Girkin, even from prison, saw the complete failure of the Kremlin's strategy at the front better than Putin and his generals, who live in a fantasy world. A former FSB officer, he was a key participant in the annexation of Crimea and the seizure of Donbass. And now as an inmate, he has written a new letter from the penal colony. In it, he called the war a meat grinder and said victory for the aggressor was impossible.
In 2 years, we have lost our professional soldiers, mobilized men, and volunteers, and we are now further from victory than at the start of the invasion. It turned out that A. The money is running out. B. So is the cannon fodder. And C. The enemy has learned how to fight back against it. During this time, Ukraine has grown stronger, while Russia has only become weaker. It's simply impossible to break the enemy by capturing a couple more hundred destroyed houses.
According to Girkin, the ruling circle around Putin is incapable of either reforms or sacrifices, because it is the country that should make sacrifices, not them.
Prediction. Revolution is inevitable. It would be better if it came from above. But there is little hope. We don't just have a club of old men, but a gathering of old hedonists. They will keep the meat grinder running until the resources run out. Then comes mobilization. Then collapse.
Putin is in a panic, and Trump is changing his stance again. Ahead of his meeting with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, the head of the White House had a phone call with Putin. The conversation lasted more than 2 hours. According to Trump, the transfer of Ukraine was also discussed. Tomahawk cruise missiles. After speaking with the Russian dictator, the US president suddenly remembered that he needed the missiles for himself.
We have a very great number of them, but we truly and genuinely need them for our country. They are very important, very powerful, very precise, very good, but we need them too. So I don't know what we can do about that.
In addition, Donald Trump announced an upcoming meeting with Putin. Where do you think? In Hungary.
We have agreed for our high-level advisors to meet next week. The initial meetings will be conducted by Secretary of State Marco Rubio, as well as several other individuals whose names will be determined. The location of the meeting will be decided later. Then Putin and I will meet in Budapest, Hungary, to see if we can put an end to this inglorious war between Russia and Ukraine.
Let me remind you that tonight there will be a meeting between Zelensky and Trump at the White House. According to the schedule of the American president, the talks will take place over lunch in an informal setting and will be closed to the press. At the same time, in an interview with American media, US Vice President J.D. Vance stated that the main obstacle in the negotiation process is the fantasies of the Kremlin's inhabitants. The White House acknowledged that Putin and his gang are lying about the real situation.
The current state of affairs, encompassing all relevant factors and circumstances pertaining to the ongoing developments and conditions on the ground, which are presently unfolding and require careful observation and analysis. the very front line of the battle.
And what do you think? What will be the outcome of the negotiations between Zelensky and Trump? Share your thoughts in the comments, leave a like, and be sure to mention where you're watching us from and whether many of your fellow countrymen support the Ukrainian people in their fight against the Russian occupiers. Strike your own so that strangers fear you. Or perhaps a brave denazifier denazified Putin's soldiers right in the deep rear. In the Moscow region, at a military base located in the Naro-Fominsk district, a Russian conscript soldier shot his fellow serviceman. It is precisely this murder that the Russian Federation and Kremlin propagandists are keeping silent about. The incident was reported by Z-bloggers and independent media.
A conscript soldier opened fire on his fellow servicemen at a military base near Moscow, according to preliminary information. As a result of the shooting at the military base, 2 people were killed. 1 soldier with severe injuries has been hospitalized. I'm betting on black, but it could also be Makan. For now, it's all a mess.
According to preliminary reports, 2 soldiers were killed and 5 wounded. One of them is in extremely serious condition. It is reported that one of the victims managed to call his mother and tell her about the shooting. She was the one who called the doctors and the police to the base. It is known that there is a large military base in Naro-Fominsk. That's where they are stationed. The Guards Artillery Regiment of the 106th Airborne Division, regiments of the Kantemirovskaya Tank Division, the Moscow Air Defense Brigade, and training units where conscripts from the capital are sent immediately after joining the service are all based there. Denazification has taken place not only in the Moscow region. In the occupied part of the Zaporizhzhia region, the propagandist and war correspondent for RIA Novosti, Ivan Zuev, was eliminated. His colleague, Yuri Voitkevich, was seriously wounded. Both had received state awards for covering the activities of the occupiers. Interestingly, both Zuev and Voitkevich were partners of another war correspondent, the war criminal Rostislav Zhuravlev, who was eliminated in the same Zaporizhzhia region 2 years earlier. In addition to working for the Russian propaganda machine, Zhuravlev was one of the instigators of the war in 2014. He was directly involved in the storming of the Donetsk Regional State Administration together with the terrorist Pavel Gubarev. After that, dreaming of the Russian world, he fought as part of pro-Russian armed groups in eastern Ukraine.
Rostislav Zhuravlev. Hooray! We stormed the Donetsk Regional Council. The Russian flag is back on the spire.
The son's awards awakened greed even in his self-absorbed father. Ramzan decided to outdo even the absurdity of Kadyr's orders and medals. The Gauleiter of Chechnya was awarded, take a deep breath, this is going to be hilarious, the Order of the Group of Soviet Forces in Germany. This order is awarded to Soviet veterans who served in East Germany during the existence of the USSR. But there's a catch. At the time the Soviet Union collapsed, Dondon was only 15 years old, even younger than his own son. Even if you let your imagination run wild and picture the most conspiratorial scenario that Ramzan Kadyrov was a secret agent of the Soviet Special Services, it still sounds absurd.
I already have 24 of them already. All made of cardboard.
Belarusians, if you're worried about your economy plunging into the abyss, don't be afraid. Cowsheds will save you. The head of the Belarusian collective farm shared some incredible wisdom. During a meeting with his government staff, Bulba Caesar declared that the country doesn't need offices, museums, or cultural sites. Instead, they should be building cowsheds.
I look at these offices, these palaces in the regions. And what else is there? We need to build them and include it in the program. Listen, we need to build cowsheds so that cows and calves can be properly kept and milked. Enough of these palaces and cultural sites already. It's probably more important to build housing for people. Don't waste money you don't have.
You don't have it, but I do. Forgot to add, for dictators. By the way, it turns out that after several decades in power, this so-called strong manager couldn't even handle building cowsheds.
Just take a good look at this poor animal. It's all ragged and its fur is already matted and tangled.
Over occupied Crimea, the clumsy Russian air defense aiming at Ukrainian drones shot down its own military plane. Preliminarily, it was a Su-30 fighter jet. This was reported by the spokesperson for the Ukrainian Navy, Dmytro Pletenchuk.
There was a fire in another place today as well. That's how they were repelling Ukrainian attacks. As a result, they managed to shoot down their own plane, which was over Crimea today. The fight continues. Right now, all the information is being gathered in Crimea.
Every voice matters. Join our community, support independent journalism and help us bring you the truth from Ukraine. Become a member of Ukraine Today. Join us now.
The bunker villain can't rest and once again tried to kill an opposition figure. In France, local special services prevented an assassination attempt on the founder of the Russian human rights project Gulagu.net, Vladimir Osechkin. According to the publications Le Parisien and Le Figaro, the General Directorate for Internal Security detained 4 men aged between 26 and 38. 3 of them are originally from Dagestan. According to the investigation, starting in the spring of 2024, the detainees visited Osechkin's house in France several times. They surveilled him, filmed the surroundings, and gathered all kinds of information. The assassination attempt was thwarted at the very last moment.
Thank you indeed very much to the esteemed French police, specifically the National Police Force. Many sincere thanks are extended to the DGSI and to every single individual who diligently took part in the crucial operation of catching these dangerous thugs, these ruthless killers, these utter failures, and to everyone who, in a broader sense, consistently works with unwavering dedication to stop these truly dirty, bloody, and utterly despicable Putin schemes. Putin will get nothing but a hole from a bagel. Not Vladimir Osechkin.
Russian riffraff with a Swiss passport. Not even the European air of freedom can cleanse the Russian stench. A Zitniak Putin'ist attacked a family on a train after hearing Ukrainian spoken.
You bastard, are you going to do anything to change something? Why aren't you sitting in a trench? Huh? Oh, look, he's filming. Better delete this video before it ends badly for you. What kind of Swiss are you? Show your Swiss passport. Why should I show it to you? I'm Swiss. All right. Yeah, who are you really? I know you well. Are you asking what that means? Me? What kind of Swiss are you? And it's shameful. See from here, from this carriage, so they don't see us. Got it? Understood?
Inadequate, not even embarrassed. A 1-year-old child. And at some point, the Z-Patriot started threatening him as well. According to the girl who filmed the video, after a while a fight broke out.
What? You don't believe me? Why are you hiding? Get out, damn it. Get out with your family before your child gets hurt. Got it?
Social media users have already identified the Putin'ist. He lives in Zurich, but he's originally from Riga. And this is far from the first incident involving this individual. In April, he attacked 2 Ukrainian girls in Geneva. The thug broke down the door to the bathroom stall, tried to knock the phone out of their hands, and hit the girls on their arms. Apparently, this lowlife doesn't like internet fame very much. And he clearly doesn't want to be seen or remembered by Ukrainian men.
Which country?
Which country? Don't
Touch!
her. I
Didn't tell you to call the police.
Which country?
Russian gas stations have started diluting gasoline. The Russian Federation's Auto Service Union has warned that due to the low quality of fuel, cars will break down more often. Geely Motors has already complained about the quality of Russian gasoline, calling it one of the reasons for engine breakdowns in their cars. And when you were pumping gas at your station, donkey urine wasn't considered lousy? Putin's pseudo-empire in all its ugliness. Or is there no money? It's all gone to the front. A pensioner from Buryatia has been on the waiting list for housing since 1963. A resident of Ulan-Ude has lived her whole life in a house built back in 1917. The shack is completely unfit for a normal person to live in. The house has no toilet, the roof leaks, mold has appeared, and the stove and foundation are destroyed. The only heating is a wood stove. In response to all her pleas for help, the authorities tell her there is no suitable housing available.
I simply can't live in these conditions anymore, as a disabled and now elderly person.
It should be noted that in the northern districts of Buryatia, thousands of people still live in old barracks and temporary shelters built for the BAM construction workers.
There just isn't any money. If we find the money, we'll address the issue. Hang in there. All the best to you, and keep your spirits up.
There's no money for ordinary Russians, but somehow there's always money for the Kremlin dreamers' absurd and pretentious ideas. Putla's envoy, Kirill Dmitriev, who is responsible for establishing contacts with Washington, decided to curry favor with Donald and publicly addressed Elon Musk. He suggests building a friendship tunnel named after Putin and Trump. According to Dmitriev's mega absurd idea, this is how Russia and the US could be connected. The 100-kilometer tunnel is supposed to run under the Bering Strait.
Elon Musk, imagine connecting the US and Russia, America and Afro-Eurasia with the Putin-Trump tunnel, with a 70-mile bridge symbolizing unity. The traditional cost is over $65 billion, but the Boring Company's technology could reduce it to $8 billion. Let's build the future together.
Finally, here's a story about the most meticulous and scrupulous robber in Russia. In Novokuznetsk, an unknown person in a mask burst into a bank and demanded 100,000 rubles. When the cashier said there was more money in the register, the robber replied no. No more is needed.
Come on now, come on, that's quite enough. Let's go then. Hand it over? Yes, hand it over.
But you needed all the money, didn't you?
That's it, this one. Come on, that's all.
We still have more money.
No need.
Why?
No. Just give me this and that's it. I'm leaving.
What? Maybe a check?
Nothing to check?